We've created a new service account for our application, created a new tenant and namespace, provided our service account consume and produce permissions on this namespace, and created our first topic within that namespace. Let's now produce our first messages to the topic. Here on the dashboard, we of course have already clicked on our instance. We can click on Client Setup to the right of Set up your client to send your first message, or Pulse our clients here in the left tab. We will produce our messages with Java and select the service account we created earlier. If you didn't download the OAuth 2 key earlier when creating the service account, you can download it now. The OAuth 2 key won't expire. If you instead need a key that expires, use a JWT token with a 7-day expiration. We will need to add entries for properties and dependencies into our POM file. I will show where this is placed in just a second once we head to IntelliJ. This section provides you with boilerplate code to produce and consume messages. For producing messages, you can select the tenant, namespace, and topic we just created. This will update the text in the topic portion of the producer code. If consuming message, you can also optionally select a subscription. Other key variables in the code are pre-filled for you, like service URL, audience, and issuer URL. Once in IntelliJ, we will need to update the credentials URL to the location of the OAuth 2 key file we just downloaded. I've already installed IntelliJ and I'm creating a new project called Pulsar Project with Java and Maven selected. In the POM file, I add the property and dependencies that were shown in the SN-hosted UI. You may also need to right-click on the POM file, select Maven, and reload the project to download the dependency. Let's now create a new class called SNProducer and paste the producer boilerplate code from StreamNative hosted UI here, making sure to keep the package declaration at the top. I have moved the downloaded OAuth 2 key file into a folder on my desktop. Let's edit the credentials URL to point to this file. Right-clicking on SNProducer and running the application, a timeout occurs with the error unable to read private key, no such file or directory. This is the error you will get if the credentials URL file path is set incorrectly. Correcting the file path and running SNProducer again, we can see 10 messages printed to the terminal that the messages have been sent. Note that we have not connected to this topic with a consumer yet, so no subscription exists yet on this topic. Also, no message retention policy exists on the namespace or topic by default. All messages outside a retention policy or outside of a subscription, including ACT messages, are eligible for deletion. Therefore, these messages may be deleted at any time. You can create a subscription manually on the topic in the UI, or use the consumer boilerplate code to connect to your topic, which will automatically create a new subscription. You should also consider setting a retention policy on the namespace, which would be applied to all topics on your namespace. Setting a message retention policy would prevent deletion of messages that have been ACT in a subscription so they can be processed again later.